Alright, so we're back and I'm about to pop off this diaphragm, which is for cylinder run. For the instructions that I read off of here, it's always good to keep it out like I always say. I am running an aftermarket K&N air filter and the stock air box, and I'm also running an aftermarket muffler or exhaust. So with those two parameters in mind, there are specific jets that you have to use, which you'll see outlined in your instructions. So I have jets 142 for the outsides, and they're lined up with obviously each body that I'm going to be using, and then 140 for carbs 2 and 3, which are on the inside. So like I said, if you've never broken apart your car before, just go ahead and do that. What you want to do is loosen up these 4 screws going in a diagonal pattern. So start from the top left and then go to bottom right, and then you can go up to top right and go to bottom right. And diggity. That's why I was holding the actual diaphragm cap. There is a spring in there, and if you don't hold it down, it will jump out at you. And if it does jump out at you, you may be unlucky like me and lose a screw, which is horribly bad. So I'm gonna go off and find out wherever it is. But for the meantime, hey, look, there it is right there. Son of a bitch. Yeah, I know. I was retarded. I should have planned ahead a little more, whatever. Anyway, so now that you see what happens when you don't hold the diaphragm, or if you're not careful, that bad boy will pop out on you. So anyway, here's your spring. What I highly suggest anyone to do, whether you're first time doing this or whether you've done this multiple times before, is just to do one body at a time. It makes it easy, keeps you from having keeps you from mixing up each component from each different one. You never want to mix those up just because engines are sensitive like that, and I mean they're all precisely tuned. So anyway, take your spring out. You know, you can just set it beside you or whatever. Like I said, I like to set it in the order that I take it out, and also too, like I always say, keep up a copy of your diagram of your throttle body. You want to take it out in the order that is shown on here. That way it makes it a little easier for you, and that's pain and headache there. Alright, so that diagram I just showed you actually showed it as one individual body taken apart. Like I said, don't take these apart, leave it as is, because you'll have to resync each of these. Alright, so here, this is your actual diaphragm itself. You want to start from this little piece right here, or either you can just pull it straight up from here. But just to see how that works, I don't know if you can really see it that good, which actually you can. You should be able to see it now. How this works is, crap, it ain't showing it. Oh well, whatever, you'll see it later. You can experience it yourself. But anyway, this diaphragm controls the airflow that goes in here and into the engine itself. So that controls how much air goes in, and it alternates back and forth based on how fast your engine's going. So anyway, you want to pull this diaphragm out. Be nice, gentle, and easy. You don't want to mess up this rubber here, because this rubber is very sensitive. Easily can rip and tear because it's so thin and so movable. So you just want to gently take it out. And as you can see here, this is what holds the needle, and it's what also controls how much air is going in and out of this body at one time. So like I said, easily slip off. Keep your stock needle. The instructions say use the dyno jet needles, which is all good, fine and dandy. Please make sure you do that. That's what the instruction says. Just like I said, make sure that you keep your stock needle, and make sure you keep it in line for whatever throttle body you're using. What I suggest you do too is, while you already have your throttle body open, just clean it up a little bit, clean it out. Mine's a little dirty and gritty. I don't know where this junk came from that's in here, but go ahead and clean it out. Like I said, you never want to have a dirty throttle body. So you can see here where the needle goes in. Like I said, I've already taken my shebanger out there. So next thing that you do after that, per the instructions, and like I said, that's what I like to go by, is just flip this bad boy over and move from there. Like I said, as you flip this over, I'm doing this one jet at a time. That way it's not to make a mess and not to get anything mixed up. If you know anything about syncing your carbs, or if you don't know anything about syncing your carbs, excuse me, this is what you actually rotate and unscrew to actually sync the cars with each one of these. Problem with that is when it's on the bike, it's kind of hard. You can't really do it unless you have all the proper tools, because these screws are in places where you can't even get to them. So like I said, that's why I say don't disconnect these cars, because it'll just mess you all up and you'll have to go through and sync it all yourself, or either take it to a shop and get it synced, which I'm pretty sure you don't want to go through that headache. These springs here, these springs actually control the opening and closing of your throttle. While you have that out, I suggest you blast that with some car cleaner. That way it just keeps it nice and flexible, nice and flowing and moving. You should have a lot of resistance on that. And like I said, if you don't, you need to go through and make sure you clean out these springs in here, because that'll also hinder your ability to get some smoothness as far as your throttle response is concerned. So also too, I just go ahead and spray this out, because I don't know if you can see on mine, but I have a lot of dirt and combustion, grease and grime that's on the back of my throttle plate. So like I said, I mean, that's normal. I just clean that off. It's just me. That's just how I am. But we'll go ahead and start unscrewing this. And like I said, it actually has 4 screws, just like the top diaphragm does. Be careful though that you know, you go in the diagonal pattern, and this also may have fuel in it, so be mindful of that as well. And it's dripping out now. All right, so we'll be back. All right, so I have taken the bottom portion off where you see the float and everything. Disassemble that. So here's the float and the main jet, pilot jets, and all the other jets that you can see here. The only jet that you need to touch is the main jet, and the main jet is this jet right here in the middle. So this is the only one that you need to touch. All you need is a flat head to just unscrew it. You unscrew this out, and then of course you put the new jet in. Now what the new jet does is basically adjust it so that you don't have all that unburned fuel in your carburetor going through your exhaust system, going through your valves and all that. It basically restricts the flow of fuel going into your carburetor and being burned. So that's essentially why you'll be replacing this jet. This jet is slightly more open. It's only by millimeters, even if that. Millimeters difference between this, the opening of this, and then the opening of the one that's in this dyno jet. So, like I said, the only thing you want to unscrew is this. This is the actual main jet. Everything else, don't touch it. Later on, in your instructions, they provide a drill bit for you to drill this piece out, and this piece will expose your mixture screw. So basically, you'll drill through this. It should be pretty thin. Once you drill through, the screw will actually be exposed there. They actually provide you, you can see here, a drill bit and a screw here. You use this drill bit to drill into this piece right here. And like I said, you'll take this screw and drill the actual mixture screw out. And what they want you to do is screw it all the way in down tight. Once you get it down tight, you'll unscrew it basically twice. So that will be 720 degrees of rotation. So don't unscrew it more than twice. So just screw it all the way down till it's tight, and then loosen it 2 rotations. All right, so like I said, once you replace that, you also want to take your dyno jet needle. They come with a clip and 2 washers per needle. So like I said, you want to place it on the second notch from the top. So I don't know how well you can see this, but in instructions it shows to place it from the second notch to the top. You'll take the dyno jet needle and replace it, and replace the stock needle with that. So it's pretty simple. All you do is pop this green part off. That comes out to expose the needle. And all you do is just drop the needle, and bam, out comes the needle. and this is what your stock needle looks like. So this is the reason for the 2 spacers, so that it looks just like this. If you need to, based off of however you want to run your cards, you can adjust that needle part up or down however you see fit. But essentially, you take the old needle out, take the new needle, stick it in, and then reinstall it back into your carburetor. And like I said, once you do that, you're good to go, and you just do that for the rest of the carbs. So that's essentially how you can break apart your carb, to actually clean it, and to do your dyno jet kit. Like I said, just follow the rest of the instructions, follow what's in your service manual, and you should be good to go. Like I said, it's Tuskegee 87 with another how-to video for first-time users. Hopefully this will help you out if you've been scouring the web trying to figure out how to get to your cars, how to take it out, all that nonsense. Is essentially how you do it. So there it is. Hope this helps. Hope it's better than nothing. And good luck to all you out there who like to take your service in your own hands, save a few $100s in labor by doing it yourself, and getting to know your bike more, so that if something happens while you're out on the road, you can do all this yourself and troubleshoot. So like I said, it's Tuskegee 87 signing off. Take it easy, ride safe, ride with a helmet, be vigilant, and have fun.